Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk, back again with another project for you, and this is a little craft fair project that I do, which is a little handled box to hold some tea lights, and this is sized for the Yankee Candle tea lights. As you can see here, I got some which are kind of almost a rich raspberry colour, hence my choice of colour. And I'm just going to show you, because what I've also done is I've kind of coloured the straw to try and help it blend in, because you can't always get this colour straws. And I'm using this beautiful stamp set called First Frost, which has got some lovely sentiments in it and beautiful stuff, almost watercolour kind of images. And this coordinates with this paper, which is a specialty paper, which has got, you probably can't see it, but it's got a lovely sheen to it, and there's beautiful patterns in here, all of them double-sided, and it's pearlised on both sides as well, with some lovely colours in there. So that's what we're going to be using, and for the next one I've chosen this paper here, which has got some Night of Navy and the Mossy Meadow in it, which I'm going to use to coordinate. So what you need to do first of all is you're going to need your trimmer to cut a piece of card. So I thought I'd start with some Mossy Meadow, and I want to show you, often I'll cut things in advance, but I wanted to show you this one because it's one of those awkward measurements that just sits on the halfway point, where on a Stampin' Up! Trimmer you've got a little bit of a mark. So right in here there's a little mark which is 6.5 inches, and that's 16.5 centimetres. So we literally go to that mark and then go a millimetre over it. So there's one, so it's 16.6, and we're going to cut, and then we do the same again. So it's just at, and I'm working millimetres today. If I get a chance I will convert it to inches for friends across the pond. But that's our first piece of card that we're going to need, and we'll use that, our envelope punch board with that. And I'll talk to you about the envelope punch board and using it, because sometimes people can struggle when they're making boxes with the envelope punch board, but it really is very straightforward. So here's our envelope punch board, and I've already worked out my measurements, and to hold the 4 tea lights I need to punch and score at 42 millimetres, so 4.2 centimetres, and then at 9.9, so that's 9.9 centimetres, 99. Now you can do this one of two ways. You can either turn and line up those marks and keep going round, or you could do the opposite side at those exact same measurements, 42 and 99, and it's really personal preference on that. I tend to follow them round because you're going to be lining those up anyway, but sometimes people find it easier rather than getting confused as to whether they've got to use the same measurements again. And this is a good one, that what I often do is I use some of my retired cardstock and create myself a bit of a template if I'm going to be doing quite a few, which for projects like these, which I'm going to be doing for a craft fair, I often do. So that's all the punching using the envelope punch board. And then you're going to need your trimmer again, because I'm going to do some extra trimming. Before we do, I'm just going to fold and burnish those score lines. Just to make sure that's, because being coloured card, it is quite strong, so it really does need a good burnish. So what we're going to do now is some trimming of some of this to make some of our flaps. So first thing I'm going to do is fold over, so on the bottom there's the narrow, fold that over, and I'm going to line up just the curve here. You don't have to be precise, and just trim that off. That's going to be our flap that comes in. Then I'm going to line up this top corner, and I'm going to line up the notches with the cut, and just cut all the way down. So you're notching out, cutting that flush and notching that out. Turn it, and you're going to do the same on this side here. So you'll need to tuck this flap in here, and obviously on this one you're going up. Okay. So you're going to end up with a piece that looks like this. I'm just going to as well just trim a small amount off the very front here as well. That's because it just overhangs slightly. So you're going to end up with a piece. So this is going to be your top. This is the back and sides, and this is going to fold up to be the bottom. So with the short piece at the top, just cut up and notch out very slightly. Then you're going to, on this, oh, I forgot to do these. Here you go. One last bit, I knew this one bit. There's a little bit of scoring to do, and that's on these pieces that you've trimmed. So putting those flush to the top, line up that cross point and score, and do the same on this one. So again, tucking that in, just make sure it's lined up where those score lines intersect. Again, you can do that by hand if you want, but it just makes it easier if you've done it on the scoreboard. So now we're going to glue our flaps. So I'm using fuse. You could obviously use red tape if that's your preference. If you've got a bit more time, then you could use wet glue as well. Then these two pieces fold in at the front. It's a bit like an envelope there. So what I do is I put the glue on the flap that's at the front, just like so, and then keeping that nice and square, fold that up. So we're lining those bottom corners up together. Okay, then all that remains to do is to fold out those two little flaps, and those fold up to become our little handle. So to punch a hole in those, I've got a hole punch, and what I do is I put it in as far, open it first, I put it in as far as it will go, and I just centralise it by eye. You see there? Punch. And I do the same on the other side. And that's going to be our little box. So the next thing is to do our decoration. So I thought to match with the paper, we need to cut a strip of this paper at 4 centimetres. And this is because it's pearlised, but it's quite a lightweight paper. So just make sure that's nice and square. And then you can cut it to sort of about 26 centimetres. Just gives you a little scrap to keep in your scrap bin. And then all I do is start on the back, so that's the flush side, and I just fold gently around. So hold one in place, fold the next one, just gently crease it, and then come back in. You don't need to burnish with the DSP, just a gentle crease with your fingers is all it takes. But by doing it that way, you can actually line up your paper with the sides to make sure that that's a nice, just nice and square. And that will then come round and overlap at the front. At the front, like so. And then we're going to cover that join with our panel up the front as well. So pop a bit of glue on there, and there's our panel, like so. I'm just going to cut some a scrap of Night of Navy cardstock and a little bit of Whisper White as well. And the Night of Navy you're going to cut again at 4 centimetres, but by 7.5. So let's cut our 7.5 by 4, and then cut a little piece of DSP. And that's going to be 3.5 by 7. There you go. And then our Whisper White is going to be 3 by 6.5. George cut it too. So we just do a little bit of stamping here. So I'm using my Night of Navy just to come in and stamp our kind of thistle image on the side there. And you see it's a lovely one of these almost photographic effect. And just wishing you all the best. Then just layer that up onto our DSP, and then that goes onto our Night of Navy, and then that goes onto the front of our box, and because it's the same width it just covers up that join as well. And if you want to just squeeze it, just pop your fingers inside and squeeze it closed. And then you obviously can't always get straws that are the right colour. So in this instance, it isn't. So all I'm going to do is cut this straw broadly in half. So it's about sort of 4 inches. And I'm going to try and colour it. Or I am going to colour it to match. So all I do is I pop it on a skewer. That's just to stop me getting quite so mucky. Take a sponge, I've just got a piece where I've cut the sponge in half, and then all I'm going to do is just rub over that straw. So I've chosen a blue straw anyway, but I'm just rubbing over that. Because it's paper, it will take the colour, and obviously we're not using it to drink from, so this is just a bamboo skewer, but it just means that you've then got a straw that blends better with your item. So I can pop my candles in here, and it just takes 4 of these slightly deeper Yankee candles. Tuck the flap in, and through goes our straw, and there we have a pair of Yankee candle gift boxes to wish someone all the best. Hope you enjoy making this project. Come back and see me again soon, and in the meantime, if you want to purchase any of the items you've seen today, pop along to my Stampin' Up shop, heidismith.stampinup.net, or pop along to my blog, flutterbyheidi.co.uk, and you'll find all the links to products there. Thanks for watching. Come back soon. Bye.